In my artistic practice, my relationship with textiles often ends up being diluted with the idea of skin. Skin as a surface for adornment, like makeup for example, in the same way as textiles, acting sort of as a second skin. Adding to this, I am very much interested in this idea of replica, of mimicking, which is also explored in the animal world, through survival mechanisms where the animal in a way dresses up to enhance their characteristics or to act as something else. But the use of skin goes back to the origins of time, of humankind, having been one of the first materials to be used for clothing. It served not only as a source of food, but also to protect us from the natural elements, either clothing, footwear, and other necessities of daily life. Nowadays, leather continues to be used, but parallel to this production, it has been increasingly explored new possibilities of replicating this material without using animals, meeting many of the ethical and environmental concerns often related with this idea of cruelty-free fashion and consequently to the production of meat and animal products. First, thank you so much, Susanna, and everyone from the Weave Up project. I'm very humbled for being part of this. And so the idea is for this week for us to have this series of learning experiences with workshops that goes from the animal leather and proposed as an idea to cross different kinds of skins that went from animal to non-animal leather. My name is Hernâni Reis Baptista. I'm a visual artist who has been exploring different mediums. From a very early age, I have been connected to the creative world, mostly through drawing and sculpture. Later, I went to the academy to study art history and later fine arts, which end up widening my field of possibilities in the use of different techniques. I am interested in the crossing of different media, and I'm increasingly curious in exploring the use of the body as a vehicle to think about performativity in the social context. So for this project, the Weave Up project, I propose to think about new ways of leather production beyond the animal skin. I think that animal leather will continue to be used and manufactured, but parallel to this production, I think it's increasingly important to explore new possibilities of replicating this material, meeting, I think, many of the ethical and environmental concerns often related to the idea of cruelty-free fashion, and consequently the production of meat and other animal products. But I think it's also important that this project touches on all the possibilities, from animal leather to new ways of replicating it. I find it necessary to take into account that not all the so-called synthetic skins are necessarily environmentally friendly as well. They are I think, also environmentally dangerous sometimes. So the idea is to get to know and become more conscious of other ways that meet our concerns, being in the production of new types of materials like this, like the SCOBY leather, for example. Understanding how contemporary creation and innovation is important to the future of the textile industry, basically.
I'm trying to find more sustainable solutions.
I'm Arthur. I study fashion design in Berlin. I learned about this project on Facebook. My work kind of always attracted by leather because there's like a history of leather work in my family. And then I saw it wasn't just like pure like leather, but also with all the biomaterials. And it's something I started working with, and I thought it would be a good like input. It's vegetarian or vegan ethics and a new way of working, because it's not new, but it's kind of new. And it's what also attracts me is that everything is open source, and this like non-gatekeep aspect I think is super interesting, because in fashion and in arts there is always this, you know, it's I invented it or I came up with this that is in the biomaterial community in a way.
It seemed important to me that this project touches on all the possibilities, from animal leather to new ways of replicating it. I find it necessary to take into account that not all the so-called synthetic skins are necessarily sustainable or ecologically aware. And I think that in this project we can get to know and be more conscious of other ways that meet our concerns, being it the production of new types of materials or understanding how contemporary creation and innovation is important to the future of the textile industry.
So we produce paste and foam. It's a different form of the formulation, coating formulation, and then we apply them by a very well-known technology is knife coating technology to make a coating 100% on top of the fabric. And here we can see several solutions. As you can see, we have coffee grounds, waste of orange, the second one, pine bark, almond shell, sawdust, from the roses too. So several and different wastes that we incorporate in our coatings.
The thing about the biomaterial world, especially in a more informal way or artistic-based practice, the biomaterials are very commonly shared. There's not really this idea of gatekeeping recipes. Actually, most of the recipes work out differently depending on who's making them. So, for example, you can find like a agar-based recipe online, but that will probably won't work for you because the conditions that you work is not the same as conditions as other persons. So in all of the recipes, you have to tune in a bit of that recipe. You have to add something or remove something. But yeah, it's always about sharing. So when you go and take one recipe and you improve it, you also give it back, and that's how this flow of knowledge continues.
Okay, the paper. This paper is quite glossy. We have different results. If you want, you can keep the same.
Maybe we can cut stripes for everyone.
Okay.
Ah, ok.
Acho que não tem
Porque aqui
natural
diz
laranja
estampado
já.
laranja e ela estava a achar que era da...
Esta é mesmo a formulação.
Very thick leathers with 2, 2.3, 2.4 millimeters. So all this range of products, it's what we try to do here inside this company. This is the color. If you let it dry, it will become a little lighter. We are going to dye the dye, use dye stuffs to dye the leather into the colors we want.
So right from the start, we have to take into account diverse backgrounds of each participant. And that is actually the most exciting thing for me. Working in this subject comes from a place of artistic practice on a conceptual level, reflecting on how these skins can be addressed or how can we think of new possibilities. But I'm also interested in integrating new ways of understanding it by exploring more practical points of view. By bringing together a group of people with different experiences and backgrounds, I believe it is extremely enriching for all those who participate. So understanding this material in its multiple layers is certainly a great asset for each of us. Starting by reflecting on this matter, but moving to the more practical issues related with the use of this material in clothing production and other industries. In Guimarães, we visited animal leather factories, but we also visited projects that are experimenting with new skins. And my idea for the workshop in France had to do a bit with how could we, as a group, share knowledge that could potentially create new skins. The main focus of this workshop would be like a process of investigation and knowledge base and sharing different knowledges. I wasn't really interested in trying to find a conclusion or an object. I was more interested that this workshop could be as an investigation, basically. That's what I thought about. We are also in a school with more younger students. I think this goal of not really having a final object to make, but rather to investigate different recipes related with biomaterials. I think that is also very, I hope so, interesting for the students here, that some of them accompanied us during a few of the activities that we made. And hopefully they will get interest, and hopefully they will continue to work on and investigate in their own paths.
So basically it's a second eco-print thing. Some fabrics Hernâni brings, so mostly silk, so it will catch more the colors and the flowers. And I think there is some linen also, maybe cotton. It was Hernâni fabrics.
Cotton and linen.
Now it's starting to be with the right consistency. Oh wow! Huh?
Glycérine. Du coup, on a rajouté de la glycérine dans la cire pour rendre la cire plus molle, pour essayer de rendre le cuir de café un peu résistant à l'eau.
Comme je vous ai expliqué, la cire, la glycérine. So me, I'm come from Vilnius, so close to Lyon, and very quickly I went to Brussels in Belgium to begin my studies in the design textile field. During 3 years, I studied weaving and some screen printing, so to make pattern on the textile. And after that, for my master degree, I began to develop a project with a guy, and we are making from 5 years now some research about how to make flexible textile with mushroom, with mycelium. I was so happy to do dyeing with flowers and plants because before I just tried with plants on the city, but it was just very quick and I didn't try it with real flower.
C'est exactly what I do.
This is starch. Before it was agar-agar, and then before that I put coffee, and it was just water, paper, and glycerin.
And I'm going to put the whole sort of materials that we work with the leather. Synthetic leather, fish leather, like gelatin leather. I will try to put all of them. I think some of them will just broke, but I will try.
Everything it's try and error, and it's this push to always continue and try and try and try, and at some point you'll find the right recipe, or you'll meet people basically that will give you like new recipes, and it's this exchange that really interests me and that I think will influence the way I work.
But it works exactly like our skin, because there was a rip here, and I put a bit of the side on top of it, and basically like stick together. Well, but in this case it's really thin. It should be a bit more thick. The rest is only the pellicule of the image without the paper.
And if we do like this.
It's almost the same technique that we use for instant tattoo, you know? Some,
Exactly, it's the same. It just
like
takes
that.
a bit of time. Yeah, it's exactly the same actually. Never thought of it.
now I think it's all about research, and I want to continue like researching and trying to figure out some solutions. Of course, we're not like real scientists with real laboratories, but I think we can still maybe have one or two good ideas that could help like the whole practice.
Previous to this workshop, I already worked and explored the biomaterial world. Now, after this workshop, I had the advantage of meeting people that had different points of view and experiences on some subject. So, of course, when you end this workshop, you feel much more enriched in your knowledge. So, obviously, I will, of course, continue to work on biomaterials, but also to add the knowledge that I also received during this workshop.